What's up? How you doing? Here we are, Sunday evening. Really nice night. Not night yet, but it's getting there. I'm going to talk about Morakniv a little bit. So I have a Morakniv here, and these knives are extremely sharp. Take a finger off, no problem. Made in Sweden. Really nice steel. Good grip there, ergonomics. But the impressive part about these knives, it's carbon steel, but it's sharp as a blade. I mean, you can literally take the whiskers off your face with this. So we keep these around in the vehicle in case you crash and your seatbelt jams. Cut right out. I know they have. I have other ones too. The ones they sell at the auto shops, auto parts there. But this one is multi-purpose. So we have this one here, and then we have the higher end one, which I prefer. Comes in a nice leather case. Look at that, nice thick leather. Great work. Nice stitching all around. Nice rivets. So look at that. Tang goes, it's a full tang, goes all the way through. You have the back exposed. Start banging on somebody's front door. But this one is nice thick steel, nice carbon steel on this. And it's much thicker than this one. But they're both razor sharp. I highly recommend more knives. Good quality work on these knives. When I was a kid, I would go fishing with my father, and he had a knife. It was like a Tarzan knife. It's like Tarzan gave it to him, but it was one of those. Who makes those knives? Cass. CASS knives. It looked just like that, big, and he used it to cut bait. He had that knife to cut bait with, and then I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it fell in the rocks, he lost it in the ocean, I don't know. He ended up buying a filleting knife about that long, and he would cut the worms with that. But if it were today, we'd have one of these. And this one is really solid. You know, I mean, you can see the thickness on that, on the top. It's a really strong metal. Free yourself from a seatbelt that's jammed. Although, that's very rare. It doesn't happen that often. It could happen, but not really. Very rarely does that take place, where you crash and then your seatbelt's jammed, won't open up. Because if that were to happen, then you'd have a hard time getting out. So I'm waiting for the crows to fly by. They fly by every evening, like clockwork. Like the head crow says, "All right, everybody, go, fly." And they fly from that direction around here. I had an uncle who was in charge of pigeons, you know, like Mike Tyson. He had, I don't know, 50, 60 pigeons, maybe more, in his backyard, in a big cage. And then twice a day, early morning, late evening, it's a nice breeze, he would open up the cage, and then he had this like a duster, and he'd wave it around, and the pigeons knew it's time to go, and they'd all come out, and then they'd take off, and they'd go up above, maybe, I don't know, 500 feet up, and they'd do circles, and then he would take this duster, and he would do some kind of thing like that, and the pigeons would start free falling, and then he'd switch it around, and they'd start flying again. So, but those were pigeons. These are crows. I don't know what these nobody commands these. Crows just do what they want to do. But I remember Mike Tyson had, you know, a lot of pigeons, and he would do that too. It's a popular thing. I think in the movie Lords of Flatbush, same thing. People connect to the pigeons. I can connect to a dog like a Presa or a Cane Corso, German Shepherd, something like that. But pigeons, I don't know. Not that interesting of an animal. So tonight we're gonna eat. What are we eating tonight? We're eating those tortilla chips. But nice. You know what? I really enjoy the month of October. I like the feeling of it. Not too cold, not too hot, just perfect. And I like the smell in the air. Everything about it. October, November, but mostly, you know, for me it's October. But November is nice. I see a tree back there blowing in the breeze, side to side. I'm still waiting for the crows. What time is it? Oh, well, we still have like 30 minutes, so I'm not gonna wait that long. Like to get a nice dirt bike, go out in the desert and explore. I've said before that I go out there and I drive in, you know, certain weird locations, but you can't bring your car everywhere. One time I went up a steep, it's like a steep hill, and I felt like the car was gonna flip backwards. I was like going up like that. But I got out and I looked and I said, it feels steep on the inside when you're driving up like this, but when you look at it, it looks safe until you find me on the side there, you know, flipped over. But yeah, I went up this thing and it was like really steep. I had to put the four-wheel drive on because when I had it on the back wheel drive, the tires were occasionally just spinning. You know, couldn't get a grip. It was such an angle, like a 15-degree grade on it, you know. It was like really steep. And then I got up there and there was no place to spin the car around so I could go down this way. I had to reverse it down, which was kind of awkward because I couldn't really see where the car was going. So, but I made it. That's why I'm here. You know, another place I enjoy is taking my vehicle, my motor car, to the dry lake bed. It's smooth surface. It's almost like they manufactured it out of glass. It's smooth. And you can do whatever, top speed on that. Nobody there with a radar gun pull you over. I see motorcycles doing like 150, 160 on that. They fly by like bullets, you know. But it's a really nice place. Go there, kill some time. Maybe go in the corner, cook a steak. You know, kick back. I enjoy watching videos of Japanese chefs. Talent beyond belief. The way they cut things, they get the knife, pull it out. They have this this big fork. They cut it up into pieces. They flip it around. Then they cut these thin. I don't know what it is. They look like little mushrooms. They flip them around, you know. And then, just when it's perfectly cooked, they put it on a spatula, put it in your plate, decorate it with a whole bunch of things, and then they serve it to you with a nice cold glass of beer made in Japan. And it looks so delicious. I have never been to a place like that, you know, but that's really good talent. Wimpy car going by. Wimpy car. Yeah, that, and I'm very impressed with Japanese carpentry. Very impressed. Everything's handmade. Everything fits perfectly, tongue and groove. You know, they have these weird hammers. They chisel out things. They match them like puzzle pieces. Incredible. No nails. You know, just very, 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 very beautiful carpentry. Like to go to Japan. Like to go to a bunch of places, but you know, Ireland is another one. Antarctica, Arctic Circle. Just I want to go to the weird places on the planet, like Antarctica. Got to go all the way to Argentina. Take a ferry boat to Antarctica, but I don't want to go just on the edge. I want to go all the way into the mountain range. Like to do that. Get a snowmobile. You know, go all the way to these mountains, take some pictures, shoot some video, head back. Of course, I'd like to go to Argentina, Chile, beautiful, Bolivia. And I like extreme north, extreme south. Like I would love to go to the northern part of Alaska. You know, walk around a little bit. And of course, one of my favorite places, and I've mentioned this a million times to people who know me, I'd like to go on vacation for a week on St. Lawrence Island. 1 week. St. Lawrence Island. And then I was talking to my bride the other day, and I said to her, I would like to go and visit Greenland. And she got on the computer there, started looking around, and she says that I guess you can catch a flight from Indianapolis or something. Or maybe not yeah, I think it's Indianapolis. So you fly from there to New York, switch, fly to Greenland, land there, have a good time, then fly back. And for some reason I thought Greenland was like 7 hours from here. But no, it'll take a long time. It'll take you like 35 hours before you're there. I know there's a lot of stop and go stuff, but I'd love to go to Greenland. But I don't want to go, you know, with people that know what they're doing. I want to just kind of be dropped off in the middle of nowhere. Maybe get a backpack full of, I don't know, tuna so you don't starve. And then I want to explore. I would love to do that. Love to explore. I have a friend, Stivoletti. Same thing. He loves to do that kind of stuff. But I'd love to go there, and not just, you know, anywhere. I'd like to go to like the northeastern part of it, even the northwestern side. You know, something like really up there, really north. And then Iceland. Iceland is beautiful, but Iceland is it's more civilized. Greenland is more rural, you know. It's like out in the middle of nowhere. Something happens, you're stuck, you know. So I'd like to visit Greenland. I've always wanted to, ever since I was, I don't know, about that big. I wanted to go Greenland. I'm looking at it on the map, and it's on the map. It's a lot bigger than it actually is in real life. Greenland should be smaller, but because of the globe, the way they make them, it makes Greenland look like it's like huge. When I think Greenland is the size of Mexico, I think. So I would love to go there. It's another good place. Yes, I know the typical places. You want to go to Egypt, you want to go to Italy, England. You know, I know those places. But I want to see other places like a forest in China. You know, and Mongolia seems interesting to me. Siberia. Oh, and then the other side, so Russia, the far east side of Russia. Beautiful there. Beautiful. You go to Alaska, get a rowboat, go over on the other side, connect. I don't know if they have customs there, and then explore. Beautiful mountains there. It's just awesome. Yeah, very beautiful. And then my other thing is the islands, uninhabited islands. I want to go somewhere where it's so remote that no one goes there. I don't want to bump into people, you know, say, oh, I'm from, you know, Chicago, we're vacationing. I don't want to see any of that. I want to go there and be the only human there for 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. And then Antarctica has beautiful islands. Beautiful islands. But you see, those kind of places, you have to bring your own food. I don't know how the fishing is down there. And then seals, I don't know how they taste. I think they're high in vitamin A, might die from toxicity. So you have to go prepared. Where in a tropical zone, coconuts, seafood is all over the place there. Mussels and other things. Cook it though, otherwise you'll get red tide in your body. I know I'm looking on Google Earth all the time, and I see all these interesting places. Mount Fuji looks nice. Africa's beautiful. I mean, you're looking at Ethiopia, man, the scenery there, Kenya, it's beautiful. I'd like to visit the Congo. Brazil is another nice location with the river Nile. There's a lot of places on the planet to visit. Trying to think anything else. I mean, I have a list of them, but oh, and another thing I'd like to do. This thing is, it's not dangerous. It's fun. Hot air balloon. Like to go and rent a hot air balloon and just let it go. And then land it somewhere and you're like, where am I? This is cool, you know, something far away. One time, many years ago, this is like, I want to say it was probably early 90s. I look out my bedroom window and my whole neighborhood had hot air balloons going by, you know, maybe like 200 feet above ground. And there was some festival and these things were going through my neighborhood in slow motion. You know, I remember that guy, that billionaire that wanted to cross the planet, go around the planet in a hot air balloon, and he ended up, he tried a few times. I forget, Steve Forbes, I don't know what his name was. I can look him up, but I'm not. Anyway, so he got up there with all the top technology, and then he had to land because the weather wasn't agreeing, right? The weather never agrees. And then finally he tried, and then he disappeared. Crashed somewhere, wild dogs ate him, something happened. I mean, I don't care about going around the world, but maybe a couple 100 miles, a couple of 100. Bring your own food up there, a couple of sandwiches, you know, some beverages, and it's pretty safe. I mean, unless some, you know, bird crashes in and makes a hole. And then you have a parachute just in case. Put it on real quick, jump out the side, you know, pull the switch. But yeah, hot air balloons have always interested me. Always. It's such a cool thing. There was a book one time I read, 21 balloons, 21 hot air balloons. Guy had a platform, made all these balloons, he lifted up, then he went all over the world. But that would be fun. And you'd have a heater, you know, one of those gas-powered heaters warming up the air. You wouldn't use helium or anything, just hot air. But those are the kind of things you have to do before you get married. Because you have kids and then your wife thinks something's going to happen to you, and, you know, and she won't let it happen, right? But when you're not married, you don't have to ask anyone. And if you're asking people when you're not married, then, you know, you're a mama's boy. Mama's boy. So, yeah, a couple of things to do, and let me think of something else that I would like to do travel-wise. Well, cruise ships. Ever since I've watched The Love Boat with Captain Steubing, I've been fascinated with taking a cruise somewhere, but far. I don't want to go from here to there, you know, and turn around, see a couple whales. I want to go somewhere for like a week. Alaska, you know, nice Queen Mary to Alaska. Yeah, and even have a Poseidon adventure. Remember that movie, Poseidon Adventure? They had to go through a tube, and it was all flooded. And the guy said to the lady, because she was heavy set, he says, let me go in front of you in case, basically saying, in case you get stuck and we can't get through. So he went in front of her, and she was a little offended, but I think she understood. Shelley Winters, is that her name? I love that movie, Poseidon Adventure. Thing flipped over on its side, and then at the end of the movie, they got to the bottom of the ship, and that was upside down, and somebody on the outside with a welder's torch was cutting an opening for them to escape. Cool movie. You know, the ocean is frightening. You know, if you're stranded. I had dreams where, you know, I was in the middle of the ocean just floating around at night with a moonbeam, and then a big oil tanker would come up right next to me, and then I'd look and there's this massive oil tanker. And then other times, you know, I'm in still water, and for some reason I'm floating around, and there's a huge cargo ship next to me, parked, not moving around, and I'm just floating around, and half of it's under the ocean, you know. And then I have another dream where I'm floating in the ocean with some kind of raft, and it's dark out, and then all of a sudden I push, and I hit a shoreline, sand, and I look, and there's this pyramid-looking island sticking out of the ground, pointy, made out of, you know, granite rocks with trees growing here and there. And then I start climbing up, and as fast as I go up, the water is coming up. And I'm like, what kind of tide is this? I mean, how far up is the water going to go, right? So I end up going all the way to the top, and then there's only maybe like 50 feet of the island sticking out of the ocean, where before it was like hundreds of feet. And there's a house up there. Some kind of party going on. But yeah, anybody out there listening, if you have a yacht, you want some company, and you're going to an uninhabited island, or you're going to North Alaska, or maybe the Antarctic, anywhere in that vicinity, or you're going down to Antarctica, contact me. I'm available, and I won't be bothersome. I won't